Hello, super scientists. Have you ever watched a giant ship sail across the water and wondered, how does that huge thing float? It's a great question. It seems like magic, doesn't it? Something so big and heavy, made of metal, just glides along the surface. Today, we're going to uncover the amazing science behind it. You know that if you drop a small pebble into water, it sinks right away. And if you drop a big, heavy rock, it sinks even faster. So, it makes sense to think that anything heavy would just go straight to the bottom. But ships are incredibly heavy, much heavier than any rock. This is where our science adventure begins. We need to understand something called buoyancy. Buoyancy is a special force that water pushes upwards on anything placed in it. It's like the water is trying to lift things up. Think about when you try to push a beach ball underwater. It's hard, right? The water pushes it back up. That's buoyancy at work. The bigger the upward push from the water, the more likely something is to float. If the upward push is stronger than the downward pull of gravity, it floats. A long, long time ago, a clever scientist named Archimedes figured out this secret. He discovered that when you put something in water, it pushes some of the water out of the way. The amount of water that gets pushed out of the way is called displaced water. This is a very important idea for floating. Archimedes realized that the upward push of buoyancy is exactly equal to the weight of the water that gets pushed out of the way. So, if a ship pushes aside a lot of water, and that displaced water weighs more than the ship itself, then the ship will float. Now, let's think about why a flat piece of metal sinks, but a boat made from the same metal floats. It's all about shape. If you take a small ball of clay and drop it in water, it sinks. It's heavy for its size. But if you flatten that same ball of clay into a bowl shape, it floats. It's the exact same amount of clay, so it has the same weight. The bowl shape spreads out the clay's weight over a larger area. This means it pushes more water out of the way. Because it displaces more water, the upward push of buoyancy becomes stronger than the clay's weight, and it floats. Ships are designed with a special shape, often wide and deep, to displace a huge amount of water. This creates a very strong buoyant force. There's another big secret inside most ships: air. Ships are not solid blocks of metal. They are mostly hollow inside. These hollow spaces are filled with air. Air is much, much lighter than water or metal. When you combine the heavy metal with all that light air inside, the ship's overall average density becomes less than the density of water. Think of it like this: if you have a big box, and it's mostly empty, it's easy to lift. But if it's full of rocks, it's very heavy. A ship is like that big, mostly empty box. Even though its walls are metal, the air inside makes the whole ship lighter for its size. This helps the ship displace enough water to create that powerful upward push, keeping it afloat. Ships are built to carry heavy cargo or many passengers. They can still float even when they are full of heavy things. This is because engineers carefully design ships to displace even more water when they are loaded. They sink a little deeper, pushing more water aside. There's a special line on the side of ships called the plimsoll line. It shows how deep the ship can safely sink into the water when loaded. This ensures the ship always displaces enough water to stay afloat and stable, even with a heavy load. Stability is also important. Ships are designed so their weight is balanced, and they don't tip over easily. This amazing science applies to all kinds of ships, from tiny fishing boats to giant cargo ships and even submarines. Submarines have special tanks that they can fill with water to sink, or fill with air to float back up. They control their buoyancy. So, whether it's a small sailboat or a massive aircraft carrier, the same principles of buoyancy, displaced water, and shape are at work. So, the next time you see a ship, remember its secret. It's not magic, it's science. So in short, ships float because their special shape allows them to push aside a lot of water. The weight of that displaced water is greater than the weight of the ship itself. Plus, all the air inside makes the ship lighter overall. It's a brilliant combination of design and physics. Isn't science amazing? Keep exploring and asking questions, super scientists.